welcome to the APMA podcast. It's Lozzy back with another episode. Hopefully, everyone listening and watching, I hope you're doing all right. Hope you're doing well. I'm doing all right in this heat, staying hydrated as you well should. Get that water down you, son. Get it down you. Gonna be a bit of a random episode. This one because I ain't got anything really planned in concrete to talk about. I just press record and kind of thought to myself, well, I'll see what happens. And two, pretty much exactly the same as point one. I've got fuck all. I've got nothing. I've got nothing left. Do you know what I mean? Everyone who's watched at least 1 minute of EastEnders will know who that is. Oh dear, Ian Beale. I'd say I had to, because in case some people just don't know, they just wouldn't know. I'm not a massive EastEnders fan. Before you get the illusion that I am, I'm not. I'm really not. I haven't watched EastEnders for about, I don't know. I'm doing fart noises in the mic. Probably about 10 years, I guess. Who was trying to think? Who's the last person I remember, or last character I remember in EastEnders? Is it Bradley? Is it Bradley? The one who fucking, spoilers, but fuck me. The one who fell off a roof off the pub. What's it fucking called? How the fuck? How did I fucking forget this? What's the pub called in EastEnders? Oh, I don't know. Something to do. Is it the Vic? The Queen Vic? I don't know. Anyway, he fell off the pub and died. That's the last time I remember a character from, like, actually watching an episode of EastEnders, and that was ages ago. That was a long time ago. Anyway, enough about EastEnders, because it's absolute shite. Enough. I've had enough. I've had enough. Just shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up. I'll tell you what, all right? I don't know. I do apologize for just telling you to shut the fuck up. I was kind of just buying time until another thought entered my mind. I had this thought the other day, and there's a show that to this day I still think is actually mental that it was ever a thing. And it's not really not out there or anything. It's not like controversial. It's just a bit weird. Um that's the is it the fucking what Osborne's? I forgot the fucking last name. I was gonna say Ozzy, the one that's Ozzy's in. Yeah, the Osbornes, that reality TV show. It's just mad that because all right, Sharon and the two kids, they're living their lives in a way that isn't filled with as much drugs or alcohol as that Ozzy had lived from basically the age of 10 upwards. So all from Ozzy's experience, I don't know how much he remembers of it, but every single time he's on camera is pretty much him twatted off his fucking rocker on drugs or on some sort of alcoholic beverage. Is the scene that sticks with me in my mind, and I quote it a lot, far too often for someone who never really watched the show that much. So I am going off not seeing the show that much, and maybe it was completely different. Just the scenes that I've seen may have painted a different picture to the reality of the actual show. I doubt it, but it's possible, right? But there's a scene where it's definitely Sharon's there, of course. I don't even know if there was a period in time on that show where she wasn't in the frame at any minute in the fucking show. Again, I'm speaking of someone who's not watched probably more than 2 episodes. So take everything I'm saying with a grain of salt. But Sharon's in frame, right? I think Kelly might be there. I can't even. Is it Jack? Is that his son? I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, Ozzy is come out of his room and is, I can only assume, is in spirit form. And when I say spirit, I mean off his rocker on spirits, right? And I'll try my best to do an accent. I really will try. Okay, it's not. I can't really build much up because there ain't much there, but I'm gonna do my best impression. He's at the door. He's opened the door. He's got his eyes for the audio listeners. I'll describe his eyes like kind of like imagine someone's only just seen daylight and they've been locked in a dark room for like 4 months without any natural light. The squinted eyes. He's come out the door, right? And he's gone like this. Somebody's been in my room and taken my beers. It's like, what is going on here? And the best bit is Sharon just goes, well, no one's been in your room. Why would we do that? You're the beer thief. You. So they're all in full knowledge that this bloke is literally, and I say bloke, this rock and roll Hall of Famer is just sat in dark rooms drinking himself into the abyss. And they're just like, beer thief? No, that's you, mate. That's you. Stop drinking all the beers. It just seemed like it was such a weird show to make. It's like the entire cast, other than Ozzy and the crew, are just sat there, like behind monitors, right? And there's someone directing this, going, "That's all right. Yep, you got that shot. Yeah, close up on his face when he's just come out of the dark room that he hasn't left for 4 months. Yeah, get that. Yeah, that looks good. Yeah, yeah, the squinting. If you want to get a close up on the squinting, and maybe shorten the sequence so it looks a bit more dramatic. Yeah, yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's such a weird premise for a show when you know that someone is basically abusing alcohol. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it's still funny. I'm not saying it's not funny. Like him coming out of the room and be like, somebody's been in my room and taking my piss. Yeah, no, you've just run out of alcohol. That's what's happened there. But let's get someone to film it. At least we can get paid so we can fuel your clearly abject misery of preventing alcoholism, because that's just not gonna fly without the money, is it? I don't know. Maybe it's a bit cynical. I don't know, but I just got reminded of that of the other day. That it's actually a TV show. Like their actual entire premise of the show was to follow what it seemed to me just people around the house, just to see what they were doing, And inevitably, every time Ozzy's on screen, he's on something. Let's put it that way. All right. He's walking around that fucking gaff like the butler from Tomb Raider 2, but out of his mind on either drugs or alcohol. Some say there's a better existence. I would probably sit there and argue that it is. If I'm going to have to walk around a large house, some say mansion, I would rather be coked off my tits or drunk as anything compared to having to carry a fucking cup of tea around a like 25 room mansion minimum, making grunt noises and then getting locked in a freezer or a fridge for a lull. You know what I mean? You got to pick. You got to pick out of the two. I just feel like not really understanding what's going on under the influence of alcohol and drugs is better than just Alzheimer's. Do you know what I mean? I feel like, to be fair, if he did have Alzheimer's, he knew the layout pretty well and he was falling around everywhere. So maybe he didn't have it. Maybe he was just very, very keen to serve. I don't know. Anyone who doesn't know what Tomb Raider 2 is or has never played Tomb Raider 2, I've just wasted 5 minutes of your life. Unlucky. That is unlucky. Unfortunately, that's just what happens. You go on these tangents, and that's what happens. Good luck. Just changing the subject slightly. Good luck to anyone who's trying to enter the secondary market Oasis tickets. I mean, I think legally I have to say don't do it. Maybe I don't have to say that legally, but I'm going to cover myself anyway. Don't go into the secondary market for Oasis tickets. You know, if you didn't get the ticket through the ballot, you didn't get the opportunity to pay, you didn't get the opportunity to be shafted halfway through the buying process of tickets, then that's just unlucky. That is the way life is, unfortunately. Um, it's annoying because from my perspective, I slated. Well, I didn't slate, but the reality of the situation was I thought the tickets would be more expensive than they initially were. And I say initially because they didn't stay that price for long. So I put the video up last week talking about how the price of the tickets, I would be shocked if they're under 120 quid. Lo and behold, the cheapest ticket comes in at £75, right? So I then go edit, put underneath in the description, right? Last week's episode, I put, well, fair play to Oasis and the organisers. The cheapest ticket is around about £75. It's good to see fans not being taken for a ride, or artists doing something for the fans. That sort of that sort of meaning and that sort of vibe from the description, the edit of the description. And then a mere hours after that video goes up, people then posting pictures of pricing that is now saying that the tickets are going up in price as they are waiting for them, which is just mental. That is just fucking mental. I haven't even bothered to go back on to then re-edit the edit and start having a pop at the organisers for clearly price gouging, which is honestly one of the wankiest things you could do. So make people wait in a queue, and then because they're so far back in the queue, you then start basically upping the prices because the tickets are in high demand. I'm sorry, but if there's only like 1.5 million tickets to go around and 14 million people are in a fucking ballot for the tickets, yeah, they're in high demand. So it's a bit fucking shitty to then say, well, this high demand is something, but we weren't expecting this level, so we're going to have to increase the price of the tickets. Oh, what the fuck is going on here? I saw like regular standing tickets going for over 200 quid from these pictures that people were posting on X and stuff. So if you have managed to get a ticket and you weren't one of the first in the queue, well done. First of all, congratulations. You're in a very small percentage of the catchment. Um, I don't even know if that's the right word. You're lucky to have got the opportunity to buy a ticket, and you're even more lucky if you got the opportunity to buy the ticket at the price originally advertised. But if you got a ticket nonetheless, was it worth it? Probably. Let's just hope they put on a good show for you next year if they're still around. There's plenty of time for them to fall out over something, I'm sure. No, look, in all seriousness, I reckon they'll put on a good show, and I reckon most people will be happy to have seen Oasis again, despite having to I would say, probably take out a credit card to pay for the tickets. But there we go. If you want to see Oasis that much, you got to pay up. Is that right? Don't know. But I'm not one of the people who's kind of joined the ballot, so I would never have known what queue position I would have been in. I'd say if they're above, if I was advertised something at a certain price, and then because I've had to wait longer through no fault of my own, I'm gonna have to wait longer. Now the price has gone up. I probably fucked it off. Let's be honest. Stay hydrated. I didn't mean to mention to the audio listeners again. I do apologize if you're hearing a bit of banging on the mic. It's because I haven't got a mic stand sorted yet. I know it's been a couple of weeks. It's bad. I should have sorted one by now, but I haven't. Hopefully, I will soon. I mean, they're only about a tenner, so I can't even say they cost that much. I'm just, not giving myself an excuse. I'm just saying I haven't got one yet. Oof. I don't know if anyone's looked recently online. Just I'm moving on to another topic, by the way. Sometimes I'll just do that and not announce I am. Some people say that, I don't know. Personally, if it was me, would I want someone to tell me they're about to move on to a different topic? Or should I just organically feel when they're moving on to a different topic? I don't know. Let me know down in the comments. Would you prefer me just like categorizing, right? That conversation is finished. Fuck that off. I'm talking about something else. Personally, I think it's more, I don't know, flows better. Just you realizing that that conversation point is now done. I don't know. Look, enjoy Oasis. All right, shut the fuck up. Anyway, look, I don't know if anyone's seen in the news in the last week or so. I'm not getting political. I'm not going to be political. Okay. So if you are a Labour supporter, I'm not. Well, I am going to have a go, slight go, because I just think it's stupid. But anyway, now I need to put some context to the situation here, right? Smoking ban. What are we saying? Yay or nay? Yay or nay? I think it's probably one of the most fucking stupid ideas I've ever heard. Because, hear me out. I know I'm not a smoker. I mean, I have smoked. I have the odd cigarette here and there. I have smoked more than that before. But I've never been like a full on smoker. I've never had like 10 a day. I've never had like consistently for months on end a lot of cigarettes. I just have one every now and again. I'm one of those social smokers, you may say. All right. I know I shouldn't be. There's no reason for me to be, but socially smoke. I am one of those. All right. I do apologize for everyone who now sees me as a bit of a twat, but I socially smoke. I have done before, and I'll probably do again if I'm not in prison, because Labour have announced that they are going to ban smoking outside pubs, restaurants, football stadiums. I mean, I don't know if it's true. Someone even listed you won't be allowed to smoke outside of a shisha bar. I don't know if they know what shisha is, but when they do find out, I'm not really sure what the reaction would be. Um, I just don't understand why. Like, we've already had the previous ruling about cigarettes. Like, I don't know, is people in the comments, if you are a non-smoker and are happy that smoking will be banned outside, or if you are a smoker and you're not happy that smoking be banned outside, please let me know either way, because I just don't understand why this is a thing. There are designated smoking areas in a lot of places. Sorry, there's no need. Designated smoking areas. And the big thing is that smoking will eventually die off. Like, in 20 years, people probably won't be smoking. One, because only like 12% of the population in this country smoke anyway. And two, the previous government, who we all decided was absolute shite and booted out, have made smoking illegal for the younger generation and the growing generations of this nation. Like, there are people who will reach the age of 18 and not be able to smoke because it is illegal to sell them cigarettes. So eventually it will die out. It's just the people that still have access to the cigarettes because the ban was imposed after they'd already been of smoking age. So all that Labour are doing is just exacerbating the problem of people still wanting to smoke. I don't know, it just seems weird. Like, is that really like a main thing you should be thinking about? Anyway, look, just let me know. I thought it was weird. I thought I'd talk about it quickly. If you support the ban, fucking, I guess, good for you. I don't know. I mean, you have. I mean, I feel like there are people who just, unfortunately, are pathetic, and they're on both sides of the political spectrum. But there was a tweet. I can't. It was by someone. Maybe they have just posting for attention. Maybe it was I was drawn into the X syndrome, like where people just post shit for me to react to. I didn't react. I just looked at it and thought, what a pathetic human being. Anyway, there was someone moaning along the lot. I can't verbatim repeat what they said because I can't remember. But the general feeling and statement they were trying to make was people shouldn't be able to smoke outside because I don't like it. So someone chimed back and said, well, you've got the option to move. And they said, well, why should I have to move? Because I don't like smoke. Why should I have to move? Because they want to endanger my life. And I'm like, these people don't exist in the same world we do. They don't. They don't. Because you ask the guy, okay, where's this fucking pub that you're talking about or bar that you don't like people smoking outside of? Is it near a road? Nothing. Doesn't say fucking anything because they know there's fucking hypocrisy to the tits. Like, you can't stand there and say, I don't like smoke being blown in my face. All right, blown in the face is a bit annoying. If someone goes out of their way to blow cigarette smoke in your face, that's fucking bad. I just don't do that shit. But if you're in the same area of people who smoke and you're on a street and there are cars going by and you're in London, my guy, my fucking guy, the smoke is probably the better way to go. Would I rather have smoke fumes in my face, or would I rather have 7 double-decker buses worth of exhaust fumes piped into my nose? I don't know. I think I'll probably go for the smoke. I think. Anyway, let us know. Let us not. I didn't start it to be a major talking point of the podcast, but it's just some people on X in particular, because it does seem to attract both sides, who are just honestly the worst people in the world. Like, all right, it might be one upped by Hitler, might be one upped by Genghis Khan, but they're just their existence is so pathetic and fragile. You're like, why are you even alive? If that is enough for you to not only complain but ask for something to be banned because of how it makes you feel, and it is that trivial, I, what's the point? You should be given a free or at least subsidized voucher for Dignitas, right? You know what Dignitas is? That's where you go to basically be killed humanely. They don't. Well, actually, I think if I was going to go out, this is going to be a tangent. If I chose to go out, I think I would want a bullet, a bit of drama, you know. Oh, I don't want to fade away into the abyss in a pod. I don't want to be suffocated kindly. Don't know. Maybe anyway. I don't know. How would everyone else want to go? This podcast is great. What a great idea it was doing a podcast without a brief or a plan. You can't really top it. But yeah, if you're, you know, going to be complaining that much about something that really would only affect you at perhaps a minute or two of your fucking day, and you want to ban because something because someone's doing it to you or around you. Don't know about that. If you seem very fragile, maybe you shouldn't be alive. I'm joking. All right. The Dignitas voucher was a joke, but it would be quite funny. Anyway. Oh yeah, did I say what Dignitas was? I forgot. Jesus Christ, I've got Alzheimer's. It's confirmed. It's basically you pay them. Brilliant. You pay them to kill you, but in a nice way. So you're not like strangled with like duct tape, like around your knees, your ankles, and your hands. You're not like kidnapped and slaughtered. You killed humanely, but you pay for the privilege of that. I guess the privilege. I don't know. Anyway, enough about death and that. Do you know what I mean? Just enough. Let's speak about something else. Bit more lighter. Bit lighter in tone. I don't know if anyone's played. I'm going to talk about Star Wars. So if you don't like Star Wars, just switch off. Actually, to be honest, this podcast I give you full, not permission because I don't want to say, I don't want to sound like authoritarian. Authoritarian is that how you I don't know. Fucking hell. Look, I give you permission to switch off if you don't like Star Wars. Just saying, I'm going to talk about the Star Wars game, right? So the first ever, in quotation marks, can't even fuck. Masks. Quotation masks. That's not the word. Quotation marks. In quotation marks. Open world Star Wars game. It's called Star Wars Outlaws. It's come out. I don't know if anyone's played it. I've seen a bit of footage of it. It's not my cup of tea. It just doesn't look like I'd enjoy it. I must admit, there is a bit of a wider issue with Star Wars, and it is down to basically most of the stuff coming out being not that great, with exceptions. But most of the films that have come out ever since Disney has bought the rights to basically everything. But anyway, Star Wars, it's not been that great, you know. I mean, Kenobi, I don't know. I think I stopped watching it after a while because I was just a bit bored. The Mandalorian, I mean, I haven't finished season 3, but that was the most enjoyable TV show I think there's been about Star Wars so far. The Acolyte, obviously, from a metric wise, you look at it through that lens, is a pile of dog shit. Whether it is or not, I've never watched it. But that's another issue. There's too much shit. Like if you go on Disney Plus, I haven't got Disney Plus, but I went on Disney Plus round the relatives, right? Like 2 weeks ago. Go on Disney Plus and look at the Star Wars section, right? And then tell me that you don't think there's too much Star Wars content. There's just too much. There's too much. You got animes, you got that's probably not the correct. You got animated series. That's not, you know what I mean? People who like anime will be like, that's not anime. That's not anime. That's animated. Fuck off. Do you know what I mean? You just can't escape the pathetic trolls. Like, nah, that's not anime. Nah. You got fucking Acolyte. This been absolutely shite. Kenobi, fucking Andor, which apparently is maybe pretty good. I've never watched it. You got all the films, Mandalorian 1, 2, 3 seasons of that. It's just too much, in my opinion. And there's other stuff that I've missed 100%. Oh, the Boba Fett fucking series off the back of the Mandalorian. What the fuck? It's just like, oh, that character's done pretty well in social media posts. Fuck it, let's do a fucking series about that character. It's just too much, too much, too much. And that goes the same for Marvel stuff. I might be fucking on my own with this one, but there's bit Marvel is just too much. There's too much. Okay, just chill out with the fucking Marvel shit. There's, I can't. It's impossible to keep up unless you dedicate a large portion of your life to only watching and consuming content that is made by Disney or Marvel or for like Star Wars stuff. That's the only way you can keep up. If you think that you can hold a job and keep up with everything that goes on in Marvel in terms of films, series, animated series, I don't know what the fuck's wrong with you. Maybe you're just a high functioning psychopath, but there's no way I could keep up. Not at all. So there's too much stuff. And it's not just like Disney stuff. All right. I'm hating on Disney a bit because they have well and truly basically not killed Star Wars because that's too far. But they've done some damage to the point where there's a new Star Wars game coming out that's set between the original films. It's set between The Empire Strikes Back and The Return of the Jedi, right? Which are considered, even if you just look at the films, are considered, you know, towards the top of the list. So it's set in a time where you have a bit more nostalgic love for the brand. And I'm just sat there going, I don't I don't really care that it's Star Wars anymore. I don't. This game could be something completely different and my excitement level would be the same because I'm just a bit worn out with Star Wars stuff. I don't know. Disney have done absolute wonders for the be like look at the amount of toys and licensed stuff, like plushies. They've just gone massive. Lego, which to be fair, Lego was already big before Disney got involved with like the partnership with Legos, but everything has just gone through the fucking roof. The amount of Lego partnerships they have with Star Wars is ridiculous. But anyway, back to the game. Now, the game looks like, unfortunately, that it relies on stealth. And I say unfortunately because the stealth gameplay looks fucking woeful, in my opinion. Um, I like Star Wars, or I did like Star Wars, and I like stealth games. You know, Splinter Cell is probably one of my fondest gaming memories is playing like Chaos Theory and Pandora Tomorrow. Was that a Splinter Cell? I think so. Double Agent, although it wasn't perhaps as good, but Chaos Theory for sure was an absolute smash hit. Is that Chaos Theory? I think it was. I'm sure it was. Yeah, Splinter Cell, Chaos Theory. I hope so. Yeah. What a game. What a game. And that was stealth done right, you know? That was an enjoyable stealth game. But this latest game from, fun enough, the same publisher, which is Ubisoft, it just relies on quite a bad looking stealth gameplay to service certain missions and certain tasks in the game. I've watched people play it and they'll be crouching down and there are enemies around and they've got to try and figure out a way around. Problem is that there are points in the game where you have to do stealth and those become really fucking shit if you need to do those, if you need to basically participate in stealth mechanics that are bad in a game that forces you to do it and penalizes you for not doing it the way they want you to do it. So there's a good example. There was like some barrels or something that I would play the footage, but it will get claimed. Disney is involved in some way, and it's a game. It's going to get claimed. That's so I won't put the footage in. But I'll describe the way I saw it anyway. Someone is in a base. I think they've got to try and steal a ship. That's the mission. You can't alert any of the guards because they will, as soon as they see you, raise an alarm and the station will be put on shutdown or lockdown. And then the mission fails. Right? So the person playing the game sees some explosive barrels in the corner, sees a couple of guards next to him, shoots the barrel, blows both of the guards up. They're dead. The other guards, as soon as that happens, turn the alarm on and the mission ends. And there's one part of me like, well, to be fair, if I was on a space station or a spacecraft and a barrel blew up, I'd probably switch an alarm on too. But because it ends the mission, when as soon as they do that, that's a fucking nightmare. I'd have so little patience for that shit. That would be fucking ridiculous. Another scenario, I've seen someone playing the game again in one of the stealth areas or situations of the game. You can take people down with basically, you can go up behind them or go. Is it up by you? I think you can take them out when you're in front of them as well. Yeah. So you basically a button prompt comes up. You press the button. Your character takes down the NPC in a cool way, action orientated. We won't even go into the fact that, you know, this female, I don't, it doesn't matter that she's female. And is she female? We don't even know yet. Yes, her name is Kay. Well, we don't know. She might be trans. We don't know. We don't know if she's cis. Oh, fuck. I hate myself for even saying that. I really do. But we'll ignore the fact that, you know, the player character is punching stormtroopers who have armor on and are knocking them out in like 2 punches. We'll ignore that because that starts to bring in logic to a game that clearly has none. And to be honest, there are big logic holes in Star Wars as a brand as a whole. Anyway, but there is a mechanic for you to knock people out. So you would have thought, oh, if I'm quick, even if they see me, they can't alert the guards and they can't switch on the alarm. No, there are some parts in the game where you will be able to be seen and the mission will end because you get caught in someone's eye line, even if you take that person out. So a clip I've seen, someone sneaks up to a guard at a door. They see them for literally a split second and they are knocked out. So the player walks up to him. The NPC looks at them, gets knocked out, and still the mission fails. Mission failed. We'll get him next time. That's, you know what I mean? It's just not, that's not fun. That's not engaging. That's boring. Another scenario was where you have a window of about quarter of a second where you can be hidden, and if you try and take the enemy by surprise, there is about quarter of a second gap between them seeing you and the mission ending. It'll just flash up on the screen, caught, and that's just bullshit. The other absolutely fucking mind-bogglingly shit thing about this is, in any stealth game that I've played that's been good, right, there is feedback as to where the enemy thinks you are, or there is a limit to the amount of enemies that know where you are at once. I.e., if you walk into a room and an enemy sees you, right, the rest of the enemies in the building don't automatically know where you are. As soon as you're spotted once by one guard, the rest of the enemies in the area don't know exactly where you are. Okay? In this game, they do. So if you're spotted at the right at the start, in a small room, every guard in the entire complex knows where you are, almost like you've got some sort of like tracking pod. You got an air tag attached to your fucking butt cheek. Oh, what the fuck is going on there? And it's bad because the game relies on that heavily, even though it's not a very well fleshed out mechanic in this game. For that reason and that reason alone, I would be infuriated playing that game. So I just won't play it. I won't enjoy it. And the price that it currently is, 70 quid to pay for a game with shite stealth mechanics to get pissed off at, is not what I consider a good time and not what I consider a good purchase. There has also been a couple other things with the game. Ubisoft, being Ubisoft, have given people, I say given, they've charged people extra for early access. That's fine as long as it's not egregious. I understand it. I think the top edition of the game was £120, something like that. For me, for this game, in my opinion, not worth it because the only extras you really get are the early access and some skins. I know I am literally sat, with behind me a Constellation edition of Starfield that cost me 250 quid, but you got the fucking watch. I'm not saying it was worth 250 quid. I'm saying you got something extra other than access to the game early, which you also got. You also could have paid far less than 120 quid for the same sort of thing, just without the watch. Anyway. So you get early access, you pay 120 quid or you pay 90 quid, 100 quid, whatever it is for the one below that you still get early access for. And then they release a day one patch that destroys all your saves, or makes the game unplayable narratively wise because there are certain NPCs that now don't load in the areas they're meant to load for certain missions. And that is how you are rewarded with paying £120. They literally sat there and said, well, we're not going to refund you, but you could just, start the game again. Fucking what? And then finally, I've seen a lot of bugs for it, like a lot of glitches. And people give Bethesda shit. I'm one of the people who give Bethesda shit for their games being buggy. Like, I sit there and it is in the back of your mind always, oh, it's a Bethesda game because it's buggy as fuck. But Starfield was relatively fucking good bug wise when it came out. But I've seen a lot of bugs and a lot of glitches and crashes and kind of, I don't know, just annoying stuff. Things not loading correctly, enemies floating in the air, fucking just random shit. And it is funny to a certain degree. I must admit, there are some Bethesda fucking bugs that are just stupidly funny the first time. But the second and third, you're like, this is going to get annoying. And then it does get annoying. That's the beauty of basically realizing, oh shit, this game is not great. Oh fuck. Okay. But yeah. So that game's out now. It is fully out now. So now you can play it with the day one patch without having to start the game again, which you may or may not have already spent like 25 hours plus on. I don't know. Fucking shit. But yeah, that game's out. I probably won't touch it for a while, at least. There might be a lot of quiet period in gaming in the next year. I doubt it for the amount of games that are coming out. But yeah, we've just had Gamescom as well. That looked pretty cool. I'd love to go to Gamescom. If I can get over the smell, I'll go. That's the one thing that a lot of people always make jokes about is the smell. You didn't think of the smell, you bitch. Yeah. It's a bit far to go though, isn't it? Germany to go to a games conference. But then when E3 was around, that was in LA. So I think it was anyway. That's even further. So out of the two, Gamescom has got to be the one you go to. And the last thing I want to speak about today was actually weirdly enough, football. I'll try. Actually, no. I'll speak about football briefly, and then move on. There is another thing I wanted to cover, but um, football hasn't really like kicked off in my eyes yet. It has. It physically has. I know it has because I've seen results and I've seen matches, but it doesn't really feel like it's got into the flow yet. So, well, I'm hoping the next couple of weeks I'll get right back into it. A lot of people ask me like, why don't I do the fantasy league stuff? When I say a lot of people, 3 people in my friends group. Okay. Um, yeah. So why don't you do the fantasy league stuff? And I'm like, because I lose interest in it far too quickly. Like I'm literally sat there at the start of the season, right? I pick all these players. Yep, cool. Right. I'm in budget. I'm ready to go. Set the team. First week, 3 injuries. I'm like, fuck off. I can't be asked. I really can't be fucked. I wasn't really that much into the game anyway. I just wanted to pick some players and see how they looked in a line out, lineup rather. But yeah, uh, maybe I'll get back into it one day, but at the moment, I just can't see myself doing it. I just can't be asked. It's just it's such a people will spend hours a day optimizing, refining their team, making sure they've got all the, you know, players that are on form in the squad, got all the like captains correct, triple captain, fucking other shit, the weird power ups that you get. I just can't be fucked with them. I can't. I can't be fucked. Um, that's my take on fantasy football. But yeah, hopefully football when it's back in the flow, like a game like when it gets to October, there's like games midweek as well, and that's when I'm fully engaged. But yeah, I would still keep tabs on it. I'm not saying I don't. I mean, I'm a Liverpool fan, so we've won our first 2 games. When this goes out, we might have lost our next game, which happens to be against Man United. But anyway, look, enough about football, all right? Enough about football. The last thing I want to speak about, which is, um, I think, well, it's kind of, I guess, it's kind of relevant to people. Now, if you're flying, uh, this will be relevant to you. If you're not planning on going on holiday abroad in the EU in the next year, or pretty much now, then it won't be. Just switch off. Maybe you already have. I don't know. The 100 milliliters restriction on like the little like you can't take big massive tubes of toothpaste. Apparently that's coming back. Right. Apparently the limit would be 100 milliliters for individual container. It'll be reintroduced in airports which had been using new technology to allow passengers to bring higher volumes of liquid. The decision applies to EU airports as well as Iceland, Switzerland, Liechtenstein, and Norway. C3 scanners had already been developed by airports in a limited number of countries, such as Germany, Ireland, Italy, Lithuania, Malta, and Netherlands, and Sweden, according to the Europe branch of Airports Council International. The restriction on liquids exists because traditional security equipment, like X ray machines, cannot effectively detect liquid explosives. The EU Commission said its decision wasn't in response to any new threat, but because of a temporary technical issue. What is the temporary technical issue? The fact that you didn't have these things in place before. What the fuck are you on about? It said information had indicated the scanner's performance did not meet the standard for which it had been approved for. Right. Okay. That's the first time I read that sentence. So what's happened here is here's the lowdown. Whoever's been in charge of making the scanner that is meant to uh basically not identify the liquid, but identify if it has or if it could be used for explosives, right? Whoever has been in charge of that has made something that doesn't do what it says it should do. Probably. Allegedly, possibly, maybe. That is fucking hilarious. So what I don't know what efficiency it has to operate at for them to be like, yeah, that's all right. If it's on like 65% efficiency, I said, well, it did just let someone go through with a, you know, a jerry can. It said kerosene on it. Are we all right with that? Is that all right? Don't know. Strange. It comes after plans to lift the 100 milliliter rule across UK airports by June this year were pushed back in April. There you go. So I thought they'd already been lifted, but apparently not. So status quo. Fuck it. I've just told you a bit of useless information. It is a bit relevant to me because I will be flying next year. Hopefully twice, but definitely once. That makes it sound like I don't think like I'm coming back. I mean, like I might be going to two separate places on holiday, two separate times. That's what I meant. All right. I've just put myself straight in the crosshairs of the air marshals. Like, this is what you said when you recorded episode 186 of the APMA podcast. What I say. Thank you if you're here for 186 episodes. My goodness me. 186 episodes. That's insane. Now, when we first started APMA, you don't think about a number, but 200 is a lot. And I know there's podcasts that have like fucking 800 episodes and they are beyond comprehension and possibly not run by humans, just lizard fucking reptiles or AI controlled. I don't know. I'm just saying this to do 800 episodes of anything, even if it's like a 10-minute podcast, is insane. But there are people out there with 400 plus episodes of like hours on hours of content. Joe Rogan, how many fucking episodes has he done? Like 500? Fuck, and his episodes can go on for like 4 hours. Jesus Christ. But anyway, what I'm saying was, I never really put a number on it. I never really thought of a number and went, oh, that'd be sick to get to that number. But the more you make, in terms of like the episodes that you make, like the closer we got to 100, I was like, oh, it'll be great to have 100 episodes. And it'll be great to have 100. It'll be great to have 200. I was going to say we'd already passed 150 quite a while ago. When was it we had 150? When was episode 150? Come on, let's have a look. Quite a while ago. 150 was, wow. 150 was the Christmas episode last year. And that came out on the 28th of December. Jesus Christ. Time flies. It does indeed. Time flies. But yeah, thank you for sticking with us. And I'm glad you watch or listen to it. If you're one of the weekly watchers or listeners, I appreciate it. I appreciate you even if you watch once in a while. Maybe you don't catch every episode. Maybe you catch up when you can. Like I said, it comes to like the Star Wars stuff when I was talking about that before. It's difficult to fucking keep up with. And at the moment we're releasing an episode every week. Plus, not to make too much of a plug, you do get the 199. 199? What the fuck am I on about? 4.99. Okay. You do get the 2 episodes extra per month with the 4.99 membership. If you would be that way inclined, obviously. That's not a requirement. Not a requirement. But I do talk about some of the funnier news stories, cover a little bit more gaming, that sort of stuff. So if you are into any of the funny stories, gaming, general chit chat, me talking absolute bollocks / shite, then that's maybe an option for you. But yeah, thank you very much for sticking with us. I do appreciate everyone's support, and a lot of people in the comments positive. you do get people who are negative, and that's fair enough. They get to leave their comment in the ether. Sometimes I reply to them, sometimes I don't. But I try to reply to everyone who leaves positive stuff because I think it's more important to keep in touch with them rather than try and argue with people in the comments telling me that this is shit, that's shit, blah blah blah. There's not many of them, so it's not something I spend much time thinking about. But I do appreciate everyone watching, whether it is a hate watch, you watch, or a hate listen. Is that a thing? I feel like hate listening is a different and quite possibly more scary prospect than someone just hate watching. Because hate watching is, oh, I just want to see I just want to see their face because they're fucking asshole. Oh, they repulse me, but I still watch. I don't think people do that. Like, I don't fucking sit here and hate listen to Taylor Swift. I'm not saying I hate Taylor Swift. I don't like her music. Be perfectly honest, I don't like her music. But should she lose any sleep over that? Definitely not. Definitely not. But yeah, it's a weird thing to think about. Hate listening. That must be a thing. It must be. Anyway, I'm fucking waffling now, even more than I usually do, which, is what it is. Just saying. If you're out there and you're listening to this because you hate us or you hate me, I hope you're enjoying your day. I really do. I don't know. I hope you don't crash. That's all I'm saying. I hope you don't crash. I hope you don't crash. But if you do, you do. It is what it is. Anyway, thank you everyone for watching and listening. I appreciate all your support, as I've said a few times now. So I'll leave you to do whatever you're doing for the rest of your day. I hope you have a good rest of your day, whatever you're doing. And I hope you get to wherever you are safely. That was a joke about the crashing thing. I mean, I don't want you to crash, but just drive safe with the seatbelt on, preferably in the speed limit. I need to rephrase that. Within the speed limit, please. Both hands on the steering wheel. If you've got electric, fair play. You got automatic anyway. If you've got an automatic petrol or diesel, you're all right too. If you've got one of the manuals like I have, then you can't keep two hands on the steering wheel at all times. It's not possible, officer. And that is how you get out of a ticket. Not that I think you get pulled over for having both hands on the steering wheel and then or not having both hands on the steering wheel. I don't know. But there's a cheat sheet there for you if you do. All right. So that's another public service provided. Unpaid. Just for the pure joy of public service. There you go. You can have that one. The Great British Public. Thank you. And we'll see you in the next one. Up the APMA. Bye-bye for now.